We're going to talk about ways to prevent unplanned pregnancies. Let's listen to these two.
Relationship again? You and your serious talks. Okay. Well, this is serious. I've been thinking a lot about taking our relationship to the next level.
We've already talked about this, Amon.
No, what I mean is the next level.
You're gonna have to spell it out, babe.
I want us to do more than just make out.
Oh, you mean have sex?
Well, yeah. Are you ready for that?
First of all, women think about this stuff. We have to. Honestly, Amon, I don't know if I'm ready. There are so many things to consider. Birth control, what kind of birth control, like birth control pills or condoms or IUDs. It's serious.
Oh, don't worry about those things, Esther. We're young and in love. That's all that matters.
So what's going down right now? He's being uncooperative. What's Amon want to do? He wants to get freaky. He wants to have, sounds like he wants to have sexual intercourse with Esther. How does Esther feel about that? She feels uncomfortable. And I would say to Amon, he says taking it to the next level. I said, Amon, I would say you don't have to have sexual intercourse to take it to that next level because there's many different kinds of intimacy, right? Maybe you could build on some other kinds of intimacy with Esther instead of, just having sex to do it. Well, if they get closer, if they have deeper recreational intimacy or deeper spiritual intimacy, will that make them closer? Will that take them to the next level? As a couple, it will. It doesn't have to be physical. Sonny's being requested. Okay. You need his skills, huh? All right. Oh, for a little bit. Okay. All right. Have fun. All right. So, we're going to talk about preventing pregnancy. Do you think by the end of by the follow-up video, Amon's going to be chilled out a little bit and Esther's going to talk to him about how she feels? Okay. I hope. If it's a healthy relationship, they will, right? All right. Family planning, contraception. I'm going to give you addresses and places where you can go and get this stuff. You can get health care, condoms, STI testing, all that stuff, low cost or free. I will have it for you. Reasons to just wait. Like I said before, right now you got other important things to do. Having sex and protecting yourself, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of stress. Do you already have a lot of stress going on in your life right now? Would you say? Or are you stress-free right now? You probably have a lot. I mean, I would be if I were you because this is a tough time in your life. You're starting high school, you're figuring out who you are, what you like, your friends, relationships possibly. It's a lot going on. To add this level of stress, getting an STI or being pregnant, planning for a baby, that's like adults can't handle that. How about a 15-year-old, right? So just keep that in mind. This is just a whole nother level of stress. If you're stressed now, it doesn't even compare with what will happen here. Okay? All right, Mr. Perfecto? Make sure that is zipped up in your bag, okay? Can't be in your pocket. Oh, Malik, where's your phone at? It's still zipped up? Okay. See if you can stay awake, though. There's going to be a test on this later. Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, a family. So when you hear the word family, what do you think about in your mind? Kids, yeah, kids in the family. What else? Just the kids by themselves and the parents, right? Parents. Grandparents. Grandchildren. So you're talking about a bigger family. What about aunts and uncles? Okay, cousins. Now, you've seen a lot of different families by now, right? Your family, the family of your relatives, families of your friends. Are there a lot of different ways to have a family that are effective? And what I mean by that is you can have two parents at home, right? Right? Can you also have one parent do a good job? For sure. And especially if the two parents aren't getting along and hate each other. Just having the one parent might be more effective, right? Could you have a step-parent do a great job? Yeah. You could have a grandmother, an aunt or uncle, or adoptive parents do a great job. So what's the one thing that matters in terms of family? What really matters? But what matters? Because you can have family. Like, I can be related. This could be my dad. This could be my cousin. But what really matters to make that a family? What kind of relationship? Close, and I would say loving relationship, right? That we care about each other. So a close, loving, caring relationship, that's what a family is, right? And that can come in many different ways, okay? I told you my biological father wasn't, he's there, but he never cared about me or was worried about me. But my stepfather did. And he raised me like he was my own. And I was like, whenever there's that stuff in the culture about step-parents are terrible, I'm like, that wasn't my experience. My stepdad's awesome. I owe everything to him. And he treated me the same as his own kids, right? I have two half-sisters. I swear he was nicer to me than them. Maybe because I was a guy, right? We could hang out. But anyway, I was amazed. I'm like, wow. That's why to me, family is more than just blood. It's about who cares for you, who's watching after you, who's there when you need help, okay? So, again, we have judgments. Remember a couple lessons ago, I had that statement, judge less, accept more. You guys remember that? So, judge less, based on stereotypes, kind of throw that out the door and just think about, what you're seeing, okay? So be accepting and non-judgmental. Ooh, family planning. On your timeline, did you guys put when you wanted to have a child, if you did? Because you don't have to have kids, right? You don't have to. Culturally, we're kind of expected to, right? Do all cultures expect people to have kids? I think most do. I think most cultures I'm familiar with expect. It's kind of natural, right? We wouldn't be here if we didn't reproduce, right? But does everybody in a family have to reproduce in order for that bloodline to continue? No, it doesn't. So, it's up to you whether or not you want to reproduce. If you want to have one, none, 5, you're the one that needs to determine that. Okay, you and your partner, the person you have. Or you could do it on your own, right? There's ways to do that on your own. So, and I would argue, planning out a family, that means you're more thoughtful. You might have a more successful family if you plan it out a little bit and do it in a way that you are comfortable with. So, contraception. So you're in a relationship and you don't want to have children yet. What are some ways to prevent that? Just tell me something. Ezekiel, what's the way? What's the method people you've heard of? To prevent pregnancy. What kind of birth control? Condoms, yeah. Condoms like we saw earlier. Okay, Jason, what's some others? Pills, yeah. Who takes the pills? Female, yeah. Right now, females take the pills. Right now, they're working on a male pill, but they don't have anything ready to go yet. Those pills prevent an egg from being released. Okay? And there's another type that females can use. It's not hormonal based on a pill. It's another thing. You guys heard of anything else? It's called an IUD. Have you heard of an IUD before? But an IUD goes into the uterus and it just changes the chemistry of the uterus and prevents the sperm and egg from joining. So it prevents that union of sperm and egg. Highly effective. Doesn't have the hormonal side effects that birth hormonal pills can have. So it all depends. And who should decide what kind of contraception you use? Who should decide that? You and your health professional, right? See a doctor. Tell them what you're comfortable with, and then you can get set up for what kind of contraception. Although there's one in particular that really works best in terms of preventing STIs and pregnancy, and what's that? Because you kind of want to prevent both, right? So to prevent both, what should you use? Condoms, right? They do fail, but if used correctly, it's pretty darn low. Pills can fail too. People can forget to take pills. That happens. The most reliable is abstinence, right? I mentioned before, you guys got stressful lives right now. That's probably the best thing. If you're having sex, I guarantee if you're having sex right now, you're going to be paranoid about being pregnant. No matter what happens, it's going to be something in the back of your mind. Oh, somebody could be pregnant this month. Every month, somebody could be pregnant. You don't want that. You got enough stress. You got enough on your plate. So barrier, hormonal, yeah, over-the-counter, and prescription. Ooh, you've heard of these methods? I quote methods. Like, do you know what have you heard of sterilization? If you're sterilized, what do you think that means? You have steroids? No, that's a good guess. If you are sterilized, it means you can't have kids anymore. Yeah. Should you make that decision right now? No. So you shouldn't go and get sterilized right now. You have a lot of growing to do, right? I don't know when people usually, if they get sterilized, what age they sterilize themselves. You've probably heard of withdrawal, though, right? Pulling out. That's pretty self-explanatory. What's the problem with this method? What could go wrong? What possibly could go wrong? You miss time, right? You ejaculate before the guy ejaculates before he pulls out. Then that's a problem, right? Yeah. But there's also another problem, because while sex is happening, could there be any semen coming out of his penis that has sperm in it? Yes, there could be. There could be sperm coming out of his penis while sex is taking place. So even if he does pull out before ejaculation, there still could be some sperm release. And that's a problem, right? How many sperm does it take to fertilize an egg? It takes one. When a man ejaculates, how many sperm are released? Millions. Okay? In the fluid that might come out during intercourse, there could be thousands of sperm there. Okay? It only takes one out of those thousands. Ooh, rhythm method or fertility awareness. What does that mean? Huh. No ideas? Leonardo, no idea? Okay. Well, it has to do with the female's fertility and what we know about the female and the egg cycle. Daniel, what do we know? What do you remember from 7th grade or earlier? You get the periods, right? About how often? Good. About how often? How long is that cycle? How many days is that cycle usually? Roughly. A month. Yeah, about a month. Okay? So the egg is released, and then it travels down the oviduct, and then goes into the uterus, and then at the end of the 28 days, it's released. Okay? In menstruation, or the period, we call it, colloquially. Well, during that time period, there's a certain number of days where she's most likely to get pregnant. It's usually the first 7 days after ovulation. While the sperm and the egg have to be in the oviduct, that little duct that goes from the ovary to the uterus. Okay, if it's not in there, it's probably not going to get fertilized. And that's usually a 7-day period, like I said. So couples can track when they ovulate, when she ovulates, and does not have sex during that week, right? And then have sex the other 3 weeks. But that method can fail because you have to really know the cycle very well. And not everybody's cycle is regular like that. It's not consistent. So that can be a method that has a lot of failures. So you definitely don't want to be doing that either. So hold up, put up the hand to those methods right there. Just don't do it. Ooh, you've heard of Plan B, right? Plan B is a drug you can get over the counter. If you have unprotected sex, you're like, oh, the withdrawal method didn't work. The condom broke. I forgot that, whatever. Forgot a pill, taking a pill, whatever it is. As soon as possible, a woman can go to or whoever can go buy the Plan B drug and then take it, and it'll prevent that egg from being released. All right, and then prevent a possible pregnancy. That's why it's called Plan B. What should Plan A be? Condom or some other contraception. Or abstinence, right? So some other plan besides, because obviously they weren't trying to get pregnant because they want to go back and go back. It's kind of like going back in time, right? Go back in time and fix that. So I'll get you some places that you can go to get these, okay? All right. Look at that chart right there. Kind of go through it. Now, will your partner have sex? We see it over here. Never, not now. Okay, those are the two abstinence. Yes, if you don't have protection, you better get ready to buy some Plan B, be tested for STIs all the time, and then get ready for a pregnancy. Okay, bad news. You don't want to be worried about you having an STI. Definitely not. Here, if you do decide to have yes, definitely need to use protection and then use some kind of reliable method. Okay, not sterilization, rhythm, or withdrawal. Oh yeah, so there is another thing called the sponge, and what that does is insert in the vagina, and it helps to kill sperm. So it's another kind of barrier method, preventing the sperm from reaching the egg, from going from the vagina into the uterus. Okay. You guys heard of the sponge before? You ever hear of a diaphragm? No? Okay, that's an old style that they used to have in movies now, but it's pretty old. They don't even talk about it anymore. Okay, so.
What do you say, beautiful?
Look, do you want to have a baby right now?
What? No. Who said anything about babies?
Well, I don't want to have a baby either. So that's why we have to talk about birth control if we're going to have...
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think he's been sitting too long today. So, he looks kind of sad, doesn't he? Okay, but let me just tell you how that story ends. He does understand that they're going to need to, slow down a little bit and then better prepare themselves for, sexual activity. They're not quite ready to take that step, and have to be concerned about, a pregnancy and the kind of life-changing, events that'll happen if that occurs. Okay? All right. So, I'm going to pause this. Now, some of you asked about these Cheez-Its.